feel. Hey. Standing strong on the bridge tonight. We got dreams and we got fight. Voices loud in the city's light. Change is coming into sight. History told by scars and pain. Echoes deep in every name. Legal truths we must reclaim. Through the storm and through the rain. Thorough black talk of you. With brother Tad, sister K. Sister Marcia, brother Blacksmith. Cut the check or no vote, yeah. Justice calls from open skies. Tears that fall, ain't no disguise. Marching forward, no surprise. Strength in hearts you can't downsize. Every voice a sweet refrain. In this fight we share the strain. Through the joy and through the pain. Bound together like a chain. Thorough black talk of you. With brother Tad, sister K. Sister Marcia, brother Blacksmith. Cut the check or no vote, yeah.
On the Brooklyn Bridge tonight, voices strong, knowledge tight. Thorough black talk in the air, changing minds, changing flair. From brother Tad to sister K, warriors got things to say. Sister Marcia brings the heat, brother Blacksmith keeps the beat. Revolutionary waves they fly underneath the open sky. Every word's a call to fight. Tune in, feel the ancestral line. Thursday nights, the world will see Black Hour Media on the spree. Facebook, YouTube, all aligned, breaking free from every bind. Social talk and politics, every voice breaks through the matrix. Commentary raw and true, for the many, not the few. Revolutionary waves they fly underneath the open sky. Every word's a call to fight. Tune in, feel the ancestral line. Ancestral line.
Good evening, good evening, good evening, family. Welcome to another edition of Thorough Black Talk with your sister Keisha, your brother Tad, brother Blacksmith, and sister Marcia will be joining us in a few minutes, family. I'm glad to be black with y'all again, trying to work out these technical difficulties. So please forgive me for that. And also trying to get over this bronchial infection that I have. But enough about that. We got so much to talk about. I want to thank our guests from last week, Brother Ray, Brother Leonard, Sister Pat, Brother Peace, for coming in and giving us the 411 about the Freedom Party. So I'm definitely thankful to them for coming in and rocking out with us. Also, they will be back next week, family. Next week. The Freedom Party crew will be back again with us to rock out and give us the 411 on the Freedom Party, because there's so much that took place during that time And it's just so much to unpack and uncover. But let me get my brother Tad in here. Brother Tad, boy, we rocking the right t-shirts today, boy. We
Come on, you know how we do. It's a Brooklyn thing. It's a Brooklyn thing. You know how we do, sis. Yeah, but I'm at a different location there. I'm down in North Kakalaki,
Uh-oh.
Just a quick trip, vacate, go visit the fam.
Bring me
Yeah.
some greens back, some yams. Bring me a batch. All right.
I got some greens soaking in the tub right now. I got you, sis. I got you.
Oh my God. And
Oh, man.
she's still with the foolishness. I mean, I don't know if y'all seen a video of her. Now she got this fake Jamaican accent. It's just crazy. It's just, I don't know. She should have been an actress because she just come up with these routines out of nowhere.
Isn't her family from the theater, from the arts, as well as quote unquote black studies? I always find it funny when they talk about people having taking black studies as if that's a qualifier of blackness. I think people forget that Rachel Dolezal taught black studies, and she also studied black studies.
Mm-hmm.
I question, like, where are we seriously, Sister Keisha? I wonder if we caught up in the matrix, because a lot of times I have to revert back to the teachings of the ancestors, like Dr. Clark and Malcolm, who were clear. Now, we're not saying people aren't black in a universal sense, but we're talking about in the society that we're in right now, in the social construct, when we see certain people, and why this is problematic for us. You, Sister Keisha, me and you always on the same page with a lot of things, and we always say we have to be the gatekeepers of our culture. We understand the points that people are trying to make, but these are not the points we're talking about right now. Because when you're talking about blacks in America, we come with a different history. We come with a different, and hopefully we get to cover that tonight. What is blackness in the American sense? Because we literally are the trendsetters for the world. We are. This is one of the reasons why Afrobeats is taking over, because they don't want hip hop. They don't want Black American culture. They're pretty much trying to crush us because we are the ones who really putting up the resistance. And that's problematic for those folks in power in this new world order that we're in. So, it's us, because I always tell people it's a spiritual war. It's not about the money. They create the money. They got the money making machines. They ain't got enough. They can print more. They keep our eyes focused this way on the quote unquote money, while they over here openly practicing their devilish ways, their anti-natural ways. And those of us who are the children of the creator, we got a duty and an obligation. Sometimes I'll be wanting to quit. I'll be wanting to give up, but I realize we can't. We can't. We do our family a huge disservice when we quit, when we give up, because there's a lot of people that's just so questionable now. People that you look at with a side eye that we used to really have a lot of respect and high regards. But then you see the cowardice come out when these people force you to say and do things that your teachings and your spirit tells you is antithetical to who you are. We can't holler Malcolm and then don't resist. We can't holler Dr. Clark but then regurgitate the script that's given to us by mainstream media. Like I told people, you vote for Kamala, you're just going for more Zionism and more neocolonialism. What else is she talking about? So if we talking about true African revolution, Black revolution, or just spiritual freedom, you can't go along with this script. But it's too early for me to get on my BS. I'm just, just sharing my thoughts with the people out there. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Sister,
we getting it ready. We getting it ready for y'all. We getting it ready.
Yeah, we loading the guns.
Yes. We got to get my brother Blacksmith in here because he going in heavy tonight. He going in heavy. A lot of things been happening. I don't know if you guys have seen his post on the Thorough Black Talk a Facebook page, but you should check them out at your convenience. And to get an insight or an understanding of what it is that some of the things that Brother Black discusses. So we're going to get my brother in here Brother Blacksmith. What's good? What's good?
Yo. I'm white t-shirt in it too. Gang, gang, baby.
I ain't always had those on Planet Rizik.
Matter of fact, let me get my Brooklyn hat out because y'all ain't representing right. Y'all got New York on. I'm putting Brooklyn on.
Uh-huh. I think he's
always the Bronx. They gotta do extra. You know what I'm saying? Uh-oh. He rocking the Brooklyn tonight.
Brooklyn. That's right. That's where we at right now.
We gotta switch.
We got them geometric storms going on now.
Oh, we got it all going on. It's happening.
You know, he coming out with a Brooklyn hat. We're gonna see what Marcia come through with later on. But
okay.
Blacksmith, yes, family. Brother Anunnaki is in here.
I know why Tad mostly called me Brother Anunnaki. He said I'm gonna get off my BS. What's my initials?
I don't know.
Uh-oh.
Oh, Blacksmith. I got it. Oh, no, that's smooth. That was smooth. Well, smooth like lotion. I like that.
Hey, man. Yeah, man. You ain't in that flood area, right? You're not in that earthquake zone, right? Excuse me, hurricane zone.
Nah. You know what's
okay,
crazy?
good.
Like with us living in New York and Brooklyn, it's always the way the media sells it. Again, as we talked about the script, because the weather's beautiful down here. You know, it's like when I was on Staten Island and we had Hurricane Sandy and people were calling me like, yo, you okay? You okay? I said, all I lost was a piece of siding on the house. That's it. Wind blew a piece of siding off the house. You know, I did have a tree fall the opposite direction of my vehicle. I had a truck back then, but tree could have fell on the truck. But, you know, we was blessed. We was blessed, you know, but it wasn't as bad as people made it seem on the news. Same way when somebody got clapped on, was that the R train, Sister Keisha, about a year or two ago? When somebody threw a smoke bomb and then popped somebody on the train and everybody out of town, yo, you all right? You all right? I heard they shooting in Brooklyn. I heard they shooting. I'm like, I'm at work and I'm good. Like the way it's sensationalized. And that's part of the point I was making earlier. You know, the sensationalism around stories keeps our eyes off our personal goals and our communal goals. And we got to stop doing that. You know, like squirrels. As soon as we hear something over there, we like, something over there, we got to stay focused, eyes on the prize, because a lot of our quote unquote folks, they done forgot. They forgot what we came for. They forgot the assignment, and I see it more and more every day.
Facts, brother. I mean, as you say, you know, so many of us are losing our ever-loving minds. It's like, I don't know. I think they opened up the insane asylums and let everybody out.
They did.
Because everybody walking around here crazy.
Sister Keisha, I was on the phone talking to Doggy. Shout out to Doggy Diamonds. I'm downtown Brooklyn, and I'm talking to him, and some lunatic just ice grilling me, looking me up and down. So clearly he got mental health issues. I'm like, you all right, brother? Something I can help you with? He just started cursing at me. So I went old school. I was like, you know, I will F you up. I was like, and you know, I will F you up. Who you think? Dog, like, yo, what's going on? It's like, this suck ass, such and such, ice grilling. Like he walked off, you know, mumbling under his breath. But I said, yo, I blame the mayor. I ain't gonna front. I blame the mayor. You let all these lunatics loose on the streets to accommodate these migrants you knew was coming. And ain't it funny how everybody's flipping the script? Because now he's like, he want all the migrants gone, but you were the one who invited them. He was like, come on, we a sanctuary city. We're gonna make space for you. And now you don't want them. But meanwhile, it was at the behest of us, all the resources that belong to us, all the services that our family needs, because some of these people are our family members. This is crazy Uncle Joe and retarded cousin Jamal, and you know what I'm saying? Not calling, you know what I'm saying, people cousins crazy or nothing like that, but it's just...
No, some of y'all got crazy cousins, and you need to alert the public that they outside roaming the damn street.
I heard he handcuffed the Diddy with baby oil on deck.
Oh.
You better learn how to slide. That's right off.
Hey, we're gonna throw a toaster in the bathtub and they're gonna do the electric slide.
Yeah. Well, look, they making room for him. He made room for the migrants. They're gonna make room for you, Jack. That's one thing my grandmother used to always say. They'll make room for you. They'll make room for you. And that's what's so crazy right now, because now here, me, taxpaying, law-abiding citizen. If I go upside one of these people's heads, I'm wrong. I'm wrong for defending myself because I feel threatened. You got these lunatics really out here. Sister Keisha, I don't know, but remember they were protesting the shooting of the dude on the train, right? Did you see what led up to all of that? You seen homie hop the train in front of the police with a knife in his hand? See, they try to sensationalize everything.
Yep. No mention that this man came on the train. And they asked him several times.
Put the knife
down. The weapon. Put down the knife. Put down the knife. He got back up into the train and still got it in his hand.
Yeah.
So, you know, a lot of crazies are just walking around here. Right. You just had a MTA worker who was stabbed up on Utica Avenue yesterday.
See, I
in the hospital now. Y'all, listen, but this is what he wants. This is the Istanbul of America. This is the Islamabad of America. This is China of America. This is the Ukraine of America. Well, you got to hold that.
Yeah. Yeah. And this is crazy because it's regular people like you and I who really got to be out here with these lunatics and keep our head on a swivel because they are out here just hurting people. So again, I'm not saying I'm pro-police, but I'm definitely pro-self-defense. And these are the people, if the cops don't catch them, you and I have to deal with this. But if you and I do something to them extreme, because again, I fear for my life. So anytime we put it on the scales, if it's me or you, you're going to lose every time because I'm fighting to win. I don't know about you, and I'm willing to go all the way, and I'm going to die on this hill if that's what it takes. But these policies that's in place by these fake politicians trying to pander to everybody and forgetting us, the people they literally work for. This is the crazy part. I go to work every day, work more hours than I want to just to make sure that I can afford to eat and keep a roof over my head and have a few dollars in my pocket so I'm comfortable. Because I'm not going to be working for the supermarket and the landlord. I need a few dollars so I could do what I want to do with my life. You know what I'm saying? So here we are working extra hours. But then if I defend myself or protect myself, I got to go through the system, catch a case. Meanwhile, migrants and lunatics could do what they want to do, get a slap on the wrist and let go to do it again the next day. This is our reality of New Yorkers that we're dealing with. And nobody's really speaking to it. You know,
it's horrible. It's horrible. You know, shout out to Brother Ray and the BK William Mackey History Club. I ran into him this afternoon in Times Square. This afternoon, ran into Brother Ray. But while I was talking to him on the Jumbotron in Times Square, they kept the poll numbers of your two main presidential candidates between Donald Trump and Kamala Harris. And I want you to know, family, New York ain't with Kamala. New York is not with Kamala.
And that's surprising.
That's according to the Jumbotron's poll numbers, because I was out there talking to Ray for a minute. And while we talking, the numbers is going up and up and up.
Yeah, because people see what it is. And this hurricane right here that the people here in the South got to deal with, it's an indicator of what Kamala represents. You see, even with the governor of Florida, who was dubbing her calls, he's like, I don't need to speak to her. I spoke to the president. What she got to say to me? He said, we're not going to politicize this. I don't need to talk to her. About what? And that's the thing. But this is what I want our folks to know who's caping for Kamala. A lot of them are suffering from Trump derangement syndrome. You say anything about Kamala, people automatically avert to Trump. And like nobody even mentioned Donald Trump. Like let's act like he don't even exist. Let's talk about this woman. Hey, I know, but Trump they wanna. It's like, see, we literally can't have honest conversation because people are not emotionally intelligent enough to deal with what the facts are. They want to go along to get along, and we got to stop regurgitating this garbage that's being fed to us. Because
the question I asked, Brother Tad, in that regard is this. Were you better between 216 and 220 or between 220 and now?
216.
Forget about politics. Just answer the question.
Nah, 2016 and 2020. And that's a fact. That's a fact. Yo, I bought food down here today, right? The food came up to like 50 something dollars. Cause I eat different. Everybody think I'm bougie, right? Because I really try to stay away from processed foods.
And you are.
A little bit. I'm ghetto bougie. But I had about 3 or 4 bags, right? Yesterday in Brooklyn, I went and got some stuff for the house. It was about $40 for one little shopping bag. The prices are totally different. And that's what I tell people, to live in New York, man, you really got to be making some serious dollars. And the prices of everything is going up, but our money is not. And here, Mayor Adams, a former city employee, is not even taking care of his city workers. Here it is, you is calling us frontline workers and all that. And soon as they quote unquote flatten the line, you was like, all right, now all y'all got to get the jab or lose your job. That's it. F out my face. I was like, wow. As my Uncle Sticks used to say, God bless him, first you want to kiss me, now you want to diss me. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? And that's where we at with it. And it's just so much, because I know tonight we're going to talk about our cultural influence and so many other things, because all of this is relevant, because Black people, particularly in America, our existence has always been rooted in resistance. Resistance from the shore of Africa, resistance through the Middle Passage, which we call the Mayafa, resistance on the plantation, resistance through Reconstruction, resistance through Jim Crow laws, resistance through the drug epidemic that was intentionally placed in our community. Now we're fighting for our minds, but this is a constant resistance of who we are. A lot of countries in the Caribbean and Africa would not be free if they didn't follow the blueprint of Black Americans. Let's be clear, and this ain't to knock nobody, but one of the first independent nations on the continent of Africa, as we all know, was Ghana, through the leadership of Sajifo Kwame Nkrumah. And he said that he's traveled all over the world, and nobody has been fighting colonialism like Black people in America. Remember, he came here, he went to school here. He got his degree at the University of Pennsylvania, I believe it was. He kicked it with Dr. Clark and Dr. King and Malcolm. So he know what it is. But it's like us right now, those who throw on dashikis, big B's and oils, we dressing the part, but we out here talking crazy. We just are. And for me, for real, Sister Keisha, that's why you don't see me rocking dashikis too much, because I'm not trying to be like a lot of these dusties no more. And I love my dashikis, but I don't want people to get it twisted about who I am, who Tad Cromwell is. I am born of Brooklyn. I am born of a New York family that migrated from the South. Let's be clear. I know who I am. I know it's my culture, my brothers, my friends, people I grew up with that literally created the trends that everybody followed. I really knew Biggie Smalls, not peripherally, hung out on a corner, teenagers trying to figure life out, rapping in clubs, selling drugs to the same crackheads. Like, I was outside when we all was trying to figure out life. I was in Dean Street Park with Foxy Brown. Make no mistake about it. You actually, Tad, of course, you like not peripherally. That's my homegirl. We went to the same summer camp back in 1988 and 1989. I know her brother, still speaks to her brother on a regular basis. Like, Tech and Steel for Smith and Wesson. Like, these are people. These are my people. Like, we in the streets with or without the music. And what I'm saying is that this is my peer group. This is my generation. These are people I went to school with and hung out on street corners with that influences the world. So why should I surrender that to pander other groups just to make their position look like it's more valuable and viable? Nah, nah. That's why you don't see me no Koofy. I'm gonna keep my Yankee on, and I'm gonna represent to the fullest. Because again, ain't nobody resisting like us. The whole hip hop culture in its inception was about resistance. It's not no more. But at the same token, those of us who are authentic and really believe in our mission, we got to keep pushing the envelope, because they tightening the noose around us. And it's just, I don't know, man. It's all of this just seems so crazy, because when you go back until the laws. You go back to the 17 and 1800s, right, Sister Keisha? I try to tell people these folks have lied to us about who we are because they always negate to mention that a lot of white people that came over here were enslaved and a lot of black people that were here were free. So we keep operating in a slave mentality because that's who we told we are. But what if somebody tell us we're kings and queens and gods and goddesses by nature? Then that changed the conversation. And then that conversation changed the language. And then the language changed the behavior. And then the behavior going to change our outcome and results. We could turn this thing around if we want to, but we got to get honest to who we are. I ain't a victim to nobody. Only white people ever put their hands on me was the police. Everybody else, they felt the hand of God on them. I promise you that. But I'm off my soapbox right now. I'm just in North Carolina looking at the trees, wondering how many black people hung from them.
Facts, my brother. Facts. Facts.
Yeah.
We gotta get Sister Marcia in here. And then we gonna
That's Sister Marmar. Cut it out. Marmar.
I don't want no problems. Listen, I'm over here battling a bronchial infection. I don't want no problems tonight. So I'll be nice. So let me get in Sister Marmar. Sister Marcia.
That means Brother Ted, Sister Marmar gonna go at it for an hour because you're gonna be real quiet tonight, sis.
No, I ain't got no smoke from my sister.
Marmar, what it do, baby?
He can't help himself. The Bronx like to instigate. They can't help themselves.
You see that Brooklyn hat was burning his head up. That's why he had to take it off. He couldn't even keep it on long.
It's that old whirlwind coming under that hat saying, get off, get off, get off, get off. Get off, get off, get off. Sister Marmar, how are you? What's good, sis?
Good evening, brothers and sisters. Happy Blacktastic Thursday. I hope everyone is feeling well. I am Marcia here, affectionately known on Thorough Black Talk as Marmar, but I am Marcia, so let's not forget that. I'm here. How's everyone doing?
Good. We're gonna let our brother Blacksmith go in, but just want to give some shout outs real quick. Shout out to Sister Marie. She said she'll be in the Bronx in 2 weeks. I'm gonna pray for you. But then we gonna pray for you, sis. Hope everything work out. You know what I mean? Brother Kadir, good that you're with us. Sister, Sister Joyce, Brother Monty on the check-in. Sister Amanette too in the Midwest crew. What's good? Brother K Rush 409 in the building. And Sister Farnessa. The mods is in here heavy, so don't y'all come in here with no crazy comments.
All right.
You know what I mean? Because the mods is in here heavy. They ain't playing with y'all. They gonna get you up out of here. Don't come in here with no hateful stuff. Don't come in here with no side talking. The mods are gonna get you up out of here. Shout out to the history hit, man.
Yeah. The big bro said, I think Kwame Nkrumah went to Lincoln University. He could be right.
Could be. But we got a lot to discuss. We're gonna let my brother Blacksmith. You ready, Black?
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm here. I have to go get the real Brooklyn hat.
He's shape shifting. Don't believe it. Shape shifting.
There you go. Going from the Bronx to Brooklyn. I think you can't trust them Bronx people. It's
trust him. That's why the Sahara is flooding right now because of him.
I'm telling you,
flakiness.
I'm telling Sister.
The Sahara is green now.
I heard that.
The Sahara is green. Thank you for bringing that up, sis. I haven't heard about that in a minute.
Police ain't playing in Queens right now. The brothels is getting raided.
I'm gonna let you talk. Go ahead, sis.
The brothels is getting raided. They outside on Roosevelt Avenue, and now Hochul wants to call in the troops.
And listen, I went out there one time doing some work over there in Jackson Heights, and some places are decent, and some places are like 5 o'clock in the morning. The ladies are doing their business like no tomorrow, and so they still have an influx of despite the fact there are less people coming in, there's still a bus of new people being dropped off to that same location. So the rotation is still going. And so I don't know what National Guards are going to do, because if you follow the patterns of National Guards, especially when they're on islands or in continental countries, they play with the misses. They've abandon how many children after they, perform their duties. And part of their duties is to populate the world so that the annihilation of their kind doesn't continue on. So I'm not sure, they're just doing their job. There's some bill that they said, or somewhere, I don't know if it's New York, but they want to legalize this, just like marijuana.
Speaking of which, Sister Mama, let me ask you a question real quick. How are the Kenyans doing in Haiti now?
They brought in new troops of Venezuelans, El Salvadorian people. The Kenyans are not making a headway, and Kenyans don't even want to work because they're not getting paid. So there was some type of different negotiations done with El Salvador, and they are the ones that have been moving people more quickly than the Kenyan workers.
That's good, because you can't be in the midst of chaos 24/7. And again, I said, and listen, to all of these nations, I see a lot of African nations that are, reclaiming their resources, reclaiming everything that rightfully belongs to them. But you better sharpen your military. I don't listen. This is why Black people have not moved the needle in the US, because we are not a fighting force. And I always say this to my brothers: if you want this country to show you an ounce of respect, you should have security squads everywhere. They should be everywhere. Nobody respects a docile person. And right now, around the globe, we are docile. In this fight, you gotta have a military presence. I don't care what anybody tells you. If your military is weak, so is your nation. So, like, you have my brothers who I love from the Nation of Islam, they won't be playing with you outside, but they know their position. They can't do nothing with this beast. That's just the reality of it.
Right.
I was gonna say exactly that, Sister Keisha, because Brother Abdul Haq, when he's trying to close down the spots in Bed-Stuy, downtown Brooklyn, and them areas, he got locked up. You know what I'm saying? So, the trick bag is that they got us to fight each other instead of them. And that's the sad part, because the Bloods and the Crips, if you are a follower of Tukey Johnson, what's his last name? I forget his name. Tukey. Yeah. Thank you, Brother Tad. If you follow them, the original concept of the gangs was to protect the neighborhood from outsiders who was trying to do racist stuff. Yeah, but then
they eliminate that train of thought, right? Because we send our children to their educational system, what we're trying to embark in them ends up flying out the window because we don't have them for 10 hours, right? And we're at work. There is no one else advocating the things that we need as long as they're in their system and we're at work and all of these things. It's just like, I've spoken to people in my community about forming, security. Oh, we pay the police. Let's clean up the block. Oh, we pay sanitation. And just because you pay somebody, like you pay your mortgage, but you still do work around your house, you pay your rent, you still painting up, you're not waiting for the landlord to come, because if you wait forever for someone else to come and give you your freedom, then you're not going to be free. You're going to be waiting. You're going to be on their behest. And I think it's about time that we start learning to do different. We know that we must do different, but we just haven't.
What it is?
Momentum.
The crazy part is we are doing different now, but we're doing the wrong thing. We're definitely, because to your point, I can remember there was a time where people were always home. And I think we had this conversation before where grandma was always home. So yeah, the kids went to school, but when you got home, you got your real education. You got your primary education, not their dictation. You came home, there was somebody there to help you with homework. What I see right now, and this is serious, and I saw a picture, it really breaks my heart. I see the young people in our families, like these little boys want to be girls now. And so you talking about fighting, you can't even get boys to like girls no more. Like we really are there. When I went to Six Flags, seeing a little boy acting like a girl and a little girl acting like a boy. So if we can't get people to even operate in their nature, we definitely can't get them to see the bigger picture, because I can remember being in a community where Black men stuck together. That's why me and Doggy always talk about when we was raised, the men gave us boxing gloves. As little boys, we 4 or 5 years old, but every Christmas and birthday, all y'all little boys, all us little cousins, we getting boxing gloves. We in the living room like this. They watching us. They all, they got their little joints and stuff, but they like, yeah, my money on Greg. That's what we used to call Thor. Like, yeah, my money on Tadpole, my money on Mushy. Like we just be in there slugging it out. But they be like, yo, when y'all go outside, this is what y'all do. Y'all protect each other. Y'all have each other's back. That's how we were literally raised. These little boys right now aren't even raised to be boys. But look, the men gave us boxing gloves. The government gave them drugs, because all these men we talking about, all of them have succumbed to this chemical warfare. Almost nobody was exempt. So when they talk about the man not being in the home, we're not really talking about the true dynamics of what has happened to us as a group. Like even with these young dudes now, like I said, my uncles and them, my pops and them smoke their joints. But what are these kids smoking now? This stuff they smoking now. This not the same stuff. This not the natural stuff. And we have to be mindful that these people are evil, wicked, diabolical people. We can be in trouble just for speaking on it. Because right, Sister Marcia? And not to cut your wisdom, I'm gonna give you the mic back, but I want people to get back in the mind state of everything that we want, we have already had. Sometimes we forget, and that's what this system do. It makes you forget things that's encoded in your DNA to protect the women, to protect the children, to take the first blow if any blow is going to be thrown, or you throw the first blow if it comes there. We have forgotten. We have to remember all that we've forgotten. It's our job, you know what I'm saying? And I honestly, and I'm gonna say this in my heart of hearts, I believe that brothers will get it right again, because I see the brothers working, organizing, having small meetings. It may not be a bunch of brothers, but even if it's 2 or 3 or 4 brothers, we having this real conversation. But guess what? This conversation is in opposition of the agenda. And we don't have mass media. We got their platform, this YouTube stuff, this Twitch stuff, this Rumble. This is still their media. And we've seen it time and time again. The minute they want, your lights is out. You can't get on social media no more. You get banned. You say something, no matter how true it is, their lies is going to fact check and say that you're lying.
But that's so true to when the times of newspapers, we had how many newspapers in circulation? And as soon as they didn't want our news to be released, they burnt down the delivery trucks. They burnt down the newspapers,
right.
So this is just a recycling of energy, and
yes.
We know what the energy is. It's about us not letting that momentum keep swinging their way. Let's push that pendulum to our side finally and leave it there, because we'll take it a little bit and then we'll let them grab it right back and keep swinging upwards, and we have to take the upward swing.
Definitely.
Because of the internet in this day and age, with me and Tad in particular, I'm talking on a male level right now. I remember, man, you wanted to be outside all day. Now you can't get these kids to go outside because they're on the internet. So we lived a real life. We were playing basketball. We were riding our bikes. We was, playing in the park, going to other neighborhoods and getting into fights, and because you ain't from that hood and stuff like that.
Black, remember, we fought each other and then became friends at the end of the day.
Exactly. Some of my best friends, the first time we met or the second time we met, we fought. And then before you know it, you friends because you respect each other. It was a misunderstanding. And you talk about it, man, let's go get some beer, man. And that's your best friend for 3 years. You know what I'm saying?
Nobody wanted to kill the
But
other one. You be like,
I
nah,
think
he got his.
I think we're still saying the same thing, because
No, we are.
even when, our elders were doing what they do, they used to say, remember, I used to be working, I used to have 3-4 jobs at 8 years old, and now you're just around here playing. Look at you playing. I used to have a job at your age. What are you talking about? So I don't think there's anything different. I just think because our lens, we're seeing things through a different lens, we find the difference in it. But it's still the same. At one period of time, we were occupied with being or doing things, and now they're occupied on a tablet. It takes, especially when we were growing up, it took our parents to ingest and push us to do other things, to be more productive. And if we're not doing this as parents, as elders of a communities, as aunties and uncles, then we're failing the children as well. And I know everyone on this platform aren't failing the children, but this is what it takes for the community to level up. We have to know that at one particular time, someone was playing, and then it just keeps, moving forward.
You just put a thought in my mind, and I got to give a shout out to Sister Tim, because I agree with a lot of things you're saying. Hindsight is always 2020. She told me to remind everybody this. What we did with Party, her daughter is now a second grade teacher. A couple of children in our youth group Party who've grown up are now teachers. A lot of times what we think children aren't paying attention to, they actually are, because it's planted in their subconscious. That's why I say hindsight is always 2020. Same thing with me. I went to Young Minds Daycare Center where all my teachers was Black until I went to public school. First grade, I had my first white teacher. Only until junior high school, when I went to 258, did I start getting Black teachers again. And then in high school. I say that to say, we don't understand how profound our message is to children until they need it. At the time, when they're children, the things we're planting in them, they don't need it at the time. Until they get older, once they grab it, once they gravitate in that space, then they learn to call on it, which is so super dope. So I'm saying that us as adults, we have to be consistent and not just keep talking about it, but we have to walk it. Today, yesterday, I'm always thankful for my mother. God bless her soul. I'm always thankful for everything that she's poured into me, that has brought me this far and is helping literally carry me further. The only sad part is that I can't call her and be like, Ma, I understand. I remember when you said this, and now I see it even more clear now. But we did have the dopest conversations throughout my life before she transitioned, especially once I moved out of the house and got my own apartment. Then I understood everything she said. But that was just into how to conduct yourself in the house, like keep the house clean, lock the door at a certain time. I'm saying that to say, Sister Marcia, the work you're doing, the work we're all doing, having these messages and conversations, we have to be consistent, because the children are getting it, whether we realize it or not. The children go astray when we start going astray, because we could say, do your homework, but then they see us in front of the TV smoking weed, eating chips. We're not being productive. So why should our children be productive if we're not being productive? We don't think our parents know what time it is because they're always at work and we're always outside, like Blacksmith said. But meanwhile, we're not understanding the value of work. I'm not just talking about just a job, but in life, you have to be productive in some shape, form, or fashion. Whether you're working for a company to get the money to bring home to take care of your family and live the life you want to, or whether you're working for yourself. But you got to do work. Look how many adults in our age group, and some are older, are not working towards anything. Some retire and that's it. They're not even traveling. They just chilling, not doing nothing. And I always admire the elder folks that retire, but still and do some type of community work. Whether it's organizing the people wherever they are, whether you in the nursing home, just working with those folks and hanging out, just bringing things to the forefront, because some people are literally sitting around waiting to die. That's all they're doing. So with all of this that's going on, they don't care. They just waiting for their marching orders. They tell you to go vote Kamala, you do it. They tell you go take the jab, you do it. They tell you go buy 10,000 rolls of toilet paper because it's about to be a food shortage, you do it. Like make it make sense. but people are not in control of their own mind. And this is what I'm saying. The resistance that we have right now is to control our own thought, control our own reality. Because what is happening is people are literally snatching the rug from up under our feet and hitting us with the Mandela effect, where they're telling us the things we think we know ain't true. Oh, you think that? That ain't true. Dr. King ain't care about civil rights. Malcolm ain't really give his life for y'all. Like when I hear people say that Malcolm and Elijah Muhammad's beef was over a girl, I think that whether that's true or not, I think that's a moot point. You know what I'm saying? But look at how they reduce all the value that Malcolm has given us internationally to say that, oh, he was jealous of Elijah because Elijah was with the girl he wanted and he was married. He ain't really want Betty.
Well, that's the energy. That's the energy. They're perpetuating the current energy in the street.
Listen to people repeat the foolishness, whether it's true or not. What value does it hold in moving us forward? Why would we put that on a scale and then remove Malcolm traveling the world for no money to really bring our plight to the people, to really be a living example of what it is to come from the streets and then rise to the halls of the UN? And
why would you want people to become heroes?
Right.
That means that you're going to raise up heroes. And that is the duty of our community leaders. And our community leaders fell to the wayside because compensation looked better than working for nothing.
You know what I realized?
When you're working,
they ain't leaders. They leechers. They ain't leaders. They're leechers. We finally removing the veil.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because when you're working for the community, for the people have the money. Best to believe, I know people with money, and yet they still won't pay you to do a project. You're just like, huh?
Do it for the people, man. You can't charge.
Or you have a product and they want you to give your product for free. Listen, it took time, energy, and sweat equity to create this project. I can't give it to you for free. Well, I'll give you $25. What is that? And then when you tell people that, we just have to think about what our value is and how much we value ourselves. They look at you like you're crazy. What are you talking about? Value. You wouldn't go to no job today and they offer you the position and they tell you, I'll pay you $1.50. You're not going to take the position. So why
Sister Marcia,
you give someone that much? Yes, sir.
Sister Marcia, with people like that, shut them down fast. If you a hustler on the street, you remember the saying, no shorts. Meaning, I'm not taking a penny short of what you owe. If it's $5, give me my $5. If it's $10, I don't want to hear a story, keep it moving. That's that. We don't even need to hash that because that's going back into a lower vibration that all of us has already surpassed. Real talk.
Well, sir, I agree with you 100%. But when you're working in the community, you end up having these tangent with people and you walk away. But this is how you have. This is what you are confronted with.
Send in the Sister Keisha. Send in the Sister Keisha. Say, well, talk to my manager, Sister Keisha.
She's speaking as the oldest one here, Tad. So she got it. She got it. Yeah.
Marcia say called you the oldest one.
I'm Marmar. Now I'm the oldest one. What is going on here?
Real quick. I'd be remiss if I didn't give my brother Mondez a shout out. My man Mondez, my man Charles Armandez Carter. He texted me. He on the check-in. It's so funny because I was talking about Mondez yesterday to somebody about brotherhood, about how he's one of my truest friends. In fact, I was talking to my other brother B. My man B was talking about Mondez, and he's one of the truest brothers. And here he is. He just texted me like, yo, bro, I'm checking in. I'm checking you out. I appreciate you. And I love that brother because he came from South Carolina back in the 80s. Like, I was one of his first friends. And Mondez always remind me of how once we became friends, we became family, because it goes back to what Black was talking about, except me and Mondez never had a fight. But, we missed that brotherhood in our community. And I don't mean just because a brother got an African-centered name. I'm talking about a dude who was in the trenches with you. Because me and him got chased by rival dudes, by Sister Keisha neighbors, them Fort Greene dudes chasing us from Myrtle to Fulton.
I know, speaking English.
It's just the Keisha family and them chasing us out of Fort Greene, you know. But Mondes is a true brother in every sense of the word, and I really love and appreciate that dude. So I just want to give him his flowers, because as we talk about community and brotherhood, and not too often, a lot of us could say that we still have our childhood friends, because this path that I took, it's not the same path that I was on when I was 14, 15 when we met. You know what I'm saying? I think I probably met him when I was 13, but I was a knucklehead. And he never judged me. And even once I became into this African-centered space and this conscious space, he wasn't one of them people like, yo, bro, you changed, you acting different. He's like, nah, I see your growth. I love and appreciate that. So I appreciate him because he's always been a solid dude, you know what I'm saying? Married to his wife for over 20-something years, never cheated on her, raising his family, always been a working, solid, trustworthy person. Always been that. And that's one thing I can say about my dude, Mondes. Always been a trustworthy person. Somebody, if he tell you something, you can take it to the bank. And that's what we need to get back to that. That's what I'm saying. We forgot so much of who we are that we not even living like we know we supposed to be living. You know what I'm saying? And those who are trying to do right, we need to hold them up. You know what I mean? Because we know when we doing wrong. All of us do. And not saying we perfect. Not saying nobody gonna be perfect. That's impossible. But we should try to do the right thing every chance we get. You know what I mean? And
that's right. You gotta clean up. That's what I'm always saying. We gotta check our moral compass. That's why there is nothing in me that would allow myself to vote for Kamala Harris. You came up on the whole stroll. You came up, no, for real. I want to ask the former Mrs. Willie Brown what she thinks. I'm a wife. I stand with all wives. I'm not with the side chick stuff. I'm not with the dusties. If you was a dusty, you get no respect. It's just like Donald Trump. You're a whore. So you have to be treated as such. He gonna give you whore policies. It is what it is, family. It is what it is. But, you know, hey, what do I know? What do I know? K-Rush 409. You need to ask your cousin Thomas about Tad back in the days. But anyway.
Thomas, that's my brother there. That's my bro right there. Well, I saw Thomas about a month or two ago.
Oh, yeah?
About a month or two ago, saw my brother, man. Yeah. You know, it's funny because when me and Thomas first met, we didn't get along in junior high school. He came in the second year of junior high school. Dudes was trying to antagonize us to fight. I don't know. Somehow we was like, we gonna fight for? You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, he was the new dude. I was the short dude who liked to fight. So they was trying to get us with, and me and him became tighter than any other dudes I was already cool with. You know what I'm saying?
So, Tad, you admit you have a Napoleon complex?
Nah, I ain't saying nothing about that. Yo, you know, I'm gonna keep it a buck because I don't know what that is, that Napoleon complex.
You don't know? You never heard that before?
I know what it is, but I don't have it. Like,
okay.
I got a low tolerance for BS.
I know that for sure.
Because you think I'm soft, because you think I'm short, and I never just took it as being short because I have friends who's my age.
You're not short to me.
Nice to people. When you try to be nice to people, they think you soft.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
They don't know at 4 and 5 years old, we was in the living room doing this. I was trained to fight. So you don't play with me. And this is how we played when I was a kid. So let's play. Boop, boop, boop. Like, oh, he's so aggressive. Nah. This is how I was raised. I was raised to protect and defend and not take nothing off of nobody. And even, it's funny because Dogie always say, Tad diplomatic, but y'all know he the first one to fight. Because I had to learn to use my word. Because I was taught how to fight before I was taught effective communication. You know what I'm saying? So when I get frustrated, I'm gonna hit you. But I had to learn to articulate myself because everything, and those responses of violence, I was always sent to the principal's office. I was always in trouble. I remember the first time I got locked up. It's just like, yo, I gotta stop letting people control me. Because when people can control you and have you jump off the deep end, you know, and I still work on that. You know. It's a constant work, but at the same token, I can't let people make me take penitentiary chances because they are playing with you. Like we said at the top of the show, you know, you got these lunatics running around out here, and you know, I've been a victim of all sorts of violence. You know what I'm saying? Except SA, that ain't happened, right? But I've been cut, I've been shot, I've been jumped, like all of that, and ain't nothing slowed me down. But when I retaliate or move in kind, I'm cooling off in the precinct or a hospital bed from getting my head bust. And I had to learn other ways of conflict resolution because we don't have that either. We don't even know how to resolve conflicts in our families, let alone inside of ourselves, to really come out and do this honest community work that's necessary. Because look at where our children are. We fight for the children. We fight for our future. You know what I'm saying? That we could do like Al Sharpton and get a check, just go home and live our best life. You know what I'm saying? Until it's over.
Facts. And you know, just we're gonna let Brother Black go in because he gotta go in. We almost at the 9 o'clock hour, but we gotta let Brother Black go in. But
okay,
just
and
to stay on that plane, hold on 1 second, Black. On that plane, this is what bothers me about a lot of people in the movement. They get a lot of things twisted. You know what I mean? Like, I keep myself in a certain way so that I don't have to choke you. So don't test me. I'm not the one to be tested because I can switch. Brother Tad, no, I can switch it off in a minute and go all the way left. So I try to keep myself in a particular zone because people will try you, especially like Sister Marcia said in this movement. You gonna cut my bread and you gonna stop playing with me. Don't ever think you could disrespect me, because outside of this meeting, I'll see you outside and I'll break you off something for real. You ask the history hitman. Wait till we do part 2 of the Freedom Party. I'm not playing with nobody. So please, you know, we have to clean ourselves up. We have to have a moral compass. We have to have an understanding that everything that you're seeing today, it's not right. So you have to take a step back for it. Now, whether you're religious or not, I don't know. That's neither here nor there. But I know that every religious doctrine tells you that, with the exception of Satanism, tells you that when evil is next to you, you gotta move. Do not engage. Don't even try to play with it. And with this duopoly, this political system that has destroyed the very fabric of this country, the very fabric of this country are Black people. We are the culture. We built it, we created it, and now they have laid the hammer down. So it's not a free-for-all for insanity. But like Brother Taz says, whether you see it or not, a lot of us are saying, hell no, no more. You got to have standards. You have to have a moral compass. If you coming over here with some foolishness, then it's going to be a problem. And you don't want them kind of problems, because we can turn it off real quick. But I'm going to get off my soapbox. Let my brother Blacksmith go in, because we got so much to cover tonight. Go ahead, Brother Black. Do your thing.
Okay, Sister Keisha, I thank you for this. I'm going to try to stick as much as possible to the topic of the show so that, you know, I don't go off into space and then y'all start calling me my real name. But anyway, the name of the show is Stop Worshiping Entertainers and Politicians, News, History, and Politics. Okay, now in saying that, the biggest news in the entertainment world that these storms have been kind of detracting us from paying attention to is Jay-Z and Beyonce suing Piers Morgan for having Jaguar Wright on the show. As is playing in the media, not as what's happening is real. Those two people, that is how can I call it? That is an indication of where we're going as a people, because the people who are calling people like Jaguar Wright and Orlando Brown and Cat Williams and Ye and anybody who's into even slightly exposing this thing now have to confront this internet shit that they don't believe because it's on the internet, it ain't valid. Okay, so that world is colliding, meaning that the system is imploding on itself. And if you an entertainer, you need to get your grind on right now, because that garbage that we've been listening to that they call hip hop for 20 years now is garbage, straight garbage. So before I go into another topic, I just want to thank the Freedom Party for coming on last week. That energy had me in the seats of the UAM when I was like, listening to it. I don't know, besides Sister Pat, I don't know the other two people that were on the show, so personally. So, but like the spirit was invoked and we was in, I didn't even want to talk. I just left my mic off. So thank you for that, Sister Keisha. As Definitely. Far as that's concerned,
back next week.
Thank you, sister. I'm looking forward to that. As far as the celestial is concerned, like Sister Keisha said at the top of the show, I've been posting about the X flares that's coming in. We're not paying attention to that. That affects your body. On Tuesday, I took like 6 naps. And when I went to sleep that night, I slept all night. That never happened in my life before. If I napped that much, I'm not going to sleep. I'll probably go to sleep at 4:30 in the morning and still wind up falling asleep at 6. You know what I'm saying? So these things is happening. They call them ascension symptoms. If you, what they call woke, conscious, aware, cognizant to what's going on in life today, you're going to feel some of them. Look them up. It's all over the internet. It's all anywhere you can look for it. Just put ascension symptoms in Google and see if you suffering through some of that. You're going to feel like crying sometimes. Sometimes you're going to feel like laughing all day, watching silly stuff and, just living life. So these storms that Milton that came in last week, Helene, they're all manufactured. So, if you're not in the eye of the storm, don't worry about it. But you got to understand, last year in Ohio, we had that train wreck. That supposedly all them people, overwhelming majority of those people were Trump voters. So, and this is why I asked Brother Tad at the top of the show, was he in that area, in any of the storm area? But that was Helene last week. That storm pretty much moved across Florida. That part of Florida as well was overwhelmingly known to be Trump supporters. As well, I don't remember the name of the element, but supposedly Helene exposed a mountain full of some rare earth mineral. I don't remember where. I read it like probably 2 in the morning 2 days ago or something like, something like that. But anyway, these mines, these minerals that will be mined eventually, it could make everybody on the earth a billionaire, and it's in the United States. With that alone, I'm talking about everybody in the world, not just the United States. As well, the Appalachians that Helene affected last week is rich in lithium mines. Billions of dollars in there, probably in the trillions. So there's a lot going on. And when you dovetail this all into one, crystallized point, so I can wrap this up, I don't want to take the show up too much. It's basically meaning that the deep state is desperate and they just putting it in your face now. And this is why I started with the Piers Morgan, Jay-Z and Beyonce thing, because they need money. Because we mentioned this, oh no, I'm sorry, I mentioned this somewhere else. The ports was closed a week and a half ago. Okay. These foreign countries ain't taking dollars no more. So the United States got to go in their reserves or whatever currency that they taking, and that's depleting the dollar. So the dollar's slowly being destroyed, and nobody's paying attention to that because they either got you with Diddy over here or with Jay-Z over here and Piers Morgan. So we got to pay attention to all this peripheral stuff. And if you can't, research it because it's too brainy for you or, it's below your level, come back to the Thorough Black Talk and check us out and get it popping. I'm done. Y'all get it back, Sister Keisha.
I have 2 questions for Brother Black. Please, Sister Keisha. Wyoming and the fires, are they also connected to earthly minerals?
No, but 2 things with that. Great question, sis. 2 things with that. You can get those people destabilized, so they got to move in cities where.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Akunain.
What did you do to him, Marcia?
I didn't
Go ahead, Brother Black.
ask a question.
Finish your comment, Brother Black, because you got cut off. Go ahead.
Yeah. I'm going in. That's why they're getting at me like this. Did you hear that, the whole answer, Sister Mama?
No, please start again.
Okay. What I think, this is an opinion now, I can't prove this to you, but you got to understand something. If you displace these people, look, we had the Ohio thing last year with the train wreck, right? We had the thing in Hawaii with the fires. The same thing. They telling people they were only going to give them $750. Same thing. And this is a year and a half ago. Okay. In New York, Chicago, and in Aurora, I don't know what's going on there now. You got the migrants. Okay. So they trying to destabilize people to get them to a point where voting is the last thing on their mind because they ain't got no house to go back to. We talking millions of people now. You're talking New York area. You're talking the biggest places in the country. Denver, Colorado. Let me just answer this. Let me just say this, and then I'm gonna let you have it back. Denver, Colorado is the home of, and that's Denver and Aurora is like basically that's Denver area, the metropolitan area. They're neck and neck, back to back, like the Bronx and Brooklyn or Manhattan. So in Aurora, Colorado, in particular, in Denver, is the home of the New World Order in the United States, and it's all located under their airport. There's too much information on that online if you want to look for it. So you can ask your question again or pass it back to Sister Keisha.
That's true. Everything he's saying, y'all can research it.
And then my last question is in terms of, so most of the water patterns, and yes, HARP is doing their thing and stuff like that. But since the Sahara has been flooding, there hasn't been as much water activities off of the coast of the continent. More is they can develop more on the Gulf, whatever they call that thing in the Gulf. And also, do you think that has a link to the Russian sub that was sitting over there?
Sitting over where?
Off that coast of Florida in that same Gulf area where all these hurricanes are coming out of.
Well, you could park a sub anywhere off of, as long as it's international waters, and the country closest to it says you can be there. And now, if you're talking the Caribbean, none of them countries can't stop a Russian or U.S. ship from docking near their waters.
No, that's not what I'm referring to. I'm referring to the water patterns, the floods, and all the waters that are happening.
Okay.
These systems are over there. Are they helping create this water disruption that's happening, like Helene, like Milton, and I think Nadine that's coming up next?
Right.
Are they being propelled by that submarine? Do you think?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't know. I'm not going to answer in the definitive. But what I do know is that the U.S. government has the most interest, because remember, they're trying to destabilize the country so that they can get less people to vote, especially in areas. And this is why I said at the beginning of my little piece, especially in the areas that are voting overwhelmingly for Trump. They trying to destabilize these people. Remember, Trump is a Floridian now. We know him as a New Yorker because that's where he's from, and we're all from New York. But he's an unofficial letterhead paper document. His official residence is now Mar-a-Lago, not Trump Tower. Even though he spends a lot of time, he's a New Yorker. How long have people been from New York, moved to Florida, and they back and forth all their life? I lived in Florida 60 years, but I was born and raised in New York, graduated high school and everything here. So, and I lived in Florida for a while, so I know what I'm telling you. I met a lot of people that have been down there, practically they talk Southern, all that. But they born in Brooklyn, Bronx, Harlem, whatever. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm thinking as far as that's concerned.
Agreed. Two, family, you can definitely research a lot of the things that Brother Black is discussing. As a matter of fact, in a recent episode of Redacted, They talked about the October surprise and how these BRICS nations are slowly moving off the dollar, and they are hoping to make it official. It could be this October, around the 22nd. So we don't know. That's probably why there is an escalation in Israel right now as well, to thought that off. Because if it is, because all of those BRIC nations have an ally on either side, so that would stop it if they could. But we shall see what happens. We don't know. Just sit back, watch, and wait. But I wanted to go over some historical points because, as Brother Tad said, excuse me, in the intro, we are the foundation of culture in this country. And I think a lot of problems that we have, I'm talking about those of us who are learned people, those of us who study, research, who are readers. We look at history one dimensional. We hear a name, a date, an event, and we can recite that. We can understand everything surrounding that incident, if you will. But we lack the fortitude to dig a little bit deeper. And that's one of the things that I pride myself on, is whatever I'm told, I'm going to dig deeper because I'm nosy by nature. Don't tell me you shouldn't be nosy. Hell no. All Black women, you should be nosy. Get back to being nosy, okay? But in the right way. But anyway, when I mention to the panelists here the Dred Scott case, everyone on this panel, and I believe the majority of you who are viewing or listening have heard about the Dred Scott case. And, one of the things that we studied about that case is the fact that Sanford lost his petition for freedom, even though his enslaver was moving from state to state and moving him to states that were free territory. But there was a case prior to that that was successful. You had an enslaved woman who master, if you will, moved to Kentucky, I think it was. And she fought for her freedom when, they were going back and forth between Kentucky, Missouri. And when I was reading this case, excuse me, family, the reason why it stuck out to me is because, the Dred Scott case was also in the state of Missouri. But years prior, a Black woman fought for her freedom and won. I want you to, if you can, purchase the book, She Took Justice. The title of the book is She Took Justice. It is written by Professor, lawyer, scholar, and teacher Gloria J. Brown Marshall. The reason why I mentioned this book is because she puts historical cases in story form so that it is easier for you to understand and to digest. However, she also has a bunch of footnotes so that you guys could research these cases, in your own time. But I wanted to mention this case. Winnie versus Whitesides alias Pruitt was an 1824 case in which the Missouri Supreme Court ruled on whether an enslaved person could be considered free. The case, in 1795, Winnie, a slave of Phoebe Whiteside, was taken from Kentucky to the Indiana Territory, which prohibited slavery. In 1821, Winnie filed a lawsuit for her freedom, claiming that she became free because of her residence in the Indiana Territory. The court ruled in favor of Winnie, establishing that a slave would be free if their owner moved them to free territory and established residency there. The court also ruled that the slave would remain free even if they were returned to the slave territory. This established the precedent of once free, always free, which was upheld for 2 decades. Significance: the case set a standard for determining slave freedom cases in Missouri until the 1850s. And that the 1850s is when the Dred Scott case began. So prior to that, Black people, in particularly, and I have to say this, Black women were fighting for their freedom in the courts and winning. Not only fighting for themselves, but fighting for their children and winning. And these cases are not often spoken of, though they should be. I want to bring our panelists back in here just to get their feeling, if you will, on hearing about Winnie versus Whiteside. I think oh, there you go, Brother Tad. Here they come. So, Brother Tad, first of all, have you ever heard the case of Winnie versus Whiteside?
I can't say that I have, but I think prior to Dred Scott, I did learn that there was a woman who fought for her freedom and did win prior to Dred Scott.
Yeah, most notably, people talk about Mum Bet.
Okay.
She
yeah,
was,
that sounds a little more familiar.
But during the research and, reading this text, there were many, many women who fought for their freedom. One that you all know, Sojourner Truth, fought for the freedom of her son and won, represented herself. So, I have to parrot my brother Tad. He always tells us that you can't fight a war one-sided. And a lot of history that we know is one-sided. And that's because whether they want to admit it or not, the scholars of that day parroted white men. You operated the same as white men. For example, you hear us on this platform often talk about what's his name? Sheesh, it just flew out of my head. But anyway, we talk about these cases because we want you to have an understanding that you can cite these cases for reparations now. You have people who fought for reparations. A lot of people who are in entertainment, as Brother Blacksmith mentioned earlier, a lot of the things that you're seeing now was done in its inception, right? The first recording artist recorded a song called Whistling Coon. So that just tells you that they never intended for you to be successful in the realm of entertainment. Your job is just to entertain it. So when you look at people, for example, like what's her name? Sheesh. Why does this girl name escapes me?
Oh, Beyonce?
No, the big girl. She's small now.
Oh,
She's losing weight.
I mean, Lizzo. I said Zillow.
That's
Lizzo.
right. Lizzo. Thank you.
Zillow.
Same thing to me. But anyway.
A house?
Would you? Listen.
Big as a house. Whoa.
Hey.
What did you just say, Brother Tad? You said big as a house, right?
Yeah, she was.
Look how the ancestors work. Now, Brother Tad don't know where I'm going with this feeling. He don't. But I want you to hold on to what he just said. Because I know you all, especially the panelists, know the story of Hottentot Venus. Right? Or Sarah Bartman.
Sarah Bartman, yes.
Right? But do you know that was the culture of the day? Like you had a fetish, if you will, and you still do, of plus size Black women and using them for entertainment purpose. Now, you had one called Big Winnie. Big Winnie, this is 1839 to 1888. She was on this earth, was an American fat lady sideshow performer in the 1800s. Despite the relatively short span of her career, she became well known. And guess what? For Sister Marcia? For her bread. See, you gonna pump her to entertain. And at that time, she was one of the highest paid entertainers combined of anybody. But I'm just saying, they gonna pay these $40 million slaves the same way they did back then. It's no different. It's just your lens and how you see things. And that's why, Malcolm said, history is greatest to reward or research. Nothing is new. Nothing is new. We just keep getting tripped up because we don't look at history in its totality. So I don't know. Have any of you guys ever heard of Big Winnie?
Never, ever.
It's crazy. It's crazy, right? It's crazy how it goes. But I also wanted to come down here because we talk about the Negro Leagues, but nobody ever talk about these 3 Black women who played in it. They don't. You see, we study one-sided. That's why we losing the goddamn war. You can't study one side. Listen, if I'm studying Dr. Clark, when I went to the Brooklyn Museum a couple of weeks ago, I might go back this weekend because there's some things I wanted to see. But when I went to the museum, they had an exhibition of a woman who was one of the first writers of African presence in the world. Her name was Pauline Hopkins. This was before Drusilla Dundee and all of them. But you don't know
Any
that.
relation, Sister Keisha? Any relation?
Listen, I don't know. Could be. I don't know. But, and she's from the Maryland, D.C. area, Sister Vera. And that's where my family originated from, at least my father's side anyway. My father's father's side, if you will, comes from that area. But yeah, nobody talks about these sisters. You can't talk about Satchel Paige and don't talk about Dolly Vardens. Shout out to Philly, because that's where they was playing at. You got to talk about Ella Harris. You got to talk about them. You can't just talk about the men who played, and they had their own team, the Feminine Stars. I see a lot of Negro League apparel, but I don't never see nothing with these sisters on it. So we have to change, family, how we do things and how we see things. Even when it comes to the Nat Turner Rebellion, people can tell you everything about the Nat Turner Rebellion, but they can't tell you about Lucy. Lucy was side by side with him. Lucy was hung. So you have to understand that, the reason why our situation is so fragmented, if you will, is because our story is fragmented. And so when a lot of people get upset, Brother Tad, about Black Americans reclaiming their history, reclaiming their culture, and gatekeeping it, that's nothing but our ancestors speaking to us to do what we must do. They've been begging for us to do it. And we've been playing sucker for a long time. A long time. And I have to say this. Please, family, don't beat me up. But I have to say this. We all, the 4 of us, are of Gen X. We are Gen X's, all of us. Before us were the baby boomers. And the baby boomers, you guys gatekeeped a lot of things. You did not pass it through to us. You became dictators in your approach to activism, in your approach to education, your approach to business. And now the millennials got to pick up the slack. You allowed baby boomers, the crack epidemic to come in. That's on your watch. Because we were too young. We had no political fortitude at that time in the 80s and 90s. We were still teenagers and young 20s. You all ushered in those politicians who enacted, the Biden crime bill and everything else. And you have the nerve to come around again and tell us and generations after us that we should stand with Biden. Y'all gonna have to eat a lot of this stuff because this is on your head. You understand what I'm saying? So get out the goddamn way now. You had your turn. Hold on, brother Black. I gotta mute you. You had your turn. Get out the goddamn way. Because now we gotta fix it and clean up your mess. Now, I'm not saying that you guys weren't monumental in the fight for our liberation. I would be lying if I said so. But a lot of y'all turned into just what you were fighting against. Chocolate white folks. Chocolate white folks. Like, you can't tell me what we don't have. Like, I heard an interview with Charleston White, and he said that black people haven't done nothing in the past 50 years. Boy, you don't know nothing about black tech. We run the yard. Please do your research. Hopefully next week I'll get to show y'all a little bit of clips of what black people are doing in tech. Everybody chasing us right now. Are you crazy? So it's okay to say you don't know. A lot of things I say I don't. That's why I stay in libraries, because I don't know. Shoot.
That's right.
I don't know. I gotta learn. Like I said, I went to the museum. They had an exhibition of women who they would feel they were what. Let me rephrase that. Women at a formal dinner, women of the past at a formal dinner, and what their place settings would look like. So, of course, they had Sandra Day O'Connor, they had Ida B. Wells's place setting, they had Fannie Lou Hamer's place setting, what it looks like. They also had Margaret Sanger, and her table place looked so profound that everybody gravitated towards it. You know what her place setting looked like? It was hands, but overflowing with blood. It was the most profound exhibit of all the women. And like I said, I don't have my grandson this weekend. So I'm going to sit and put all of the video and images that I took so you guys could see. And Marcia, let me know what you're doing this weekend. I might take another trip down there because I needed to go to the 5th floor, but I had my grandson and he wouldn't let me. But your thoughts, family, on what I just laid out before you.
Well, can I go first, brothers? Thank you so much. So I will just say, in terms of looking at us women, because we live in this man-made world and men rule the world, our stories, ladies, our stories take the back burner, and we need to be the ones to champion our stories, because we had some phenomenal women to grace us, to do things for us that allowed us to be here today. And again, if the mother is the birther of all civilization, without a woman, where would we be today? And so for these men to negate the woman's story, it's really, really sad. And it's up to us to show our daughters, because, we've gone through several generations, like Sister Keisha is saying, the baby boomers, Gen X, millennials, who else? Gen Z, all of these people right here, they don't have the foundation of who women are outside of just being mothers. They don't know that we were heroes and sheroes, and we were on battlefields. So for us to really take a look at the work of our mothers, because everyone is a mother or an auntie. So to take a look at their stories, and of course, first you start with your own family story, and then you look at the larger world and how you fit into it. But it's really, really important that we look at mothers more, because we don't. And also look at children, because, Sister Keisha has a point, right? The baby boomers who failed us, but then they fail their own children, because some of their children are late baby boomers who end up in the crack era because they couldn't pass on the knowledge. And I'll say this, they probably couldn't pass on the knowledge because they were stuck in grief. Look at all these assassinations that they witnessed. How can you teach anyone anything when you're stuck in grief? You have to be able to release grief. And I tell you, us as Black people, we don't know how to release grief. And we continue to go through certain things and we push forward. And that's why we're always in survival mode, because we don't know how to let go of the pain of the past and to look forward to the future. And that's all I wanted to say. Thank you.
Real quick,
I like the pain. I like the pain. Like I told a friend of mine who's a therapist, I love the pain. I use it to fuel me. I don't believe in forgiveness of any kind whatsoever. I don't. My husband downstairs, he'll tell you I'm still mad at stuff 5 years ago. I don't care.
But you channel that pain.
No,
Yes,
I don't channel it.
That pain.
Every chance I get, I let him know about it.
Yes,
you know why I do it?
That pain.
No, you know why I do it? Because as long as I could get triggered by something, you're gonna be triggered. So that's what we got to do with the Yarugu. As long as I'm triggered, cracker, you getting triggered. You don't like what I say, too goddamn bad.
I know, I get you, but you got to be able to utilize the pain, because if you
Sister Keisha, I'm with you on that 1,000. 1,000.
If you get paralyzed with the pain, you're not moving forward. You're using that pain. You're exploiting. You're exposing it over and over again. Unfortunately, our community stays paralyzed with the pain, and then we say, just vote Democrat straight down the line, and we're gonna be good. That's paralyzing movement.
I agree. Sister Amanatu, the Midwest crew, she said, Black people, we don't really deal with feelings well. Nope, I don't. And I told a friend of mine who's a therapist, who I love very, very much. She's a good friend of mine. But I always, throw stuff back at her. And she'd be like, you be making me go back to my books. Yeah. Why? The answer is why. Why? Like I would say, you painted this wall looking crazy. I told you don't do it this in the first place. So every chance I got to look at that wall, yeah, I'm going to bring it up to him. Because you're going to feel it. Every time I feel it, you're going to feel it. We in this together. My pain is your pain. So, he'll tell you, my wife ain't going to let you live nothing down. Nope. But go ahead, Brother Black. We get off my soapbox.
In response to a question that you asked a little while ago, Sister Mama, about the possibility of Russian ships causing this last storm. There's another thing I forgot to tell you. I remembered when y'all were talking. There were planes spotted over the clouds. Storm clouds are real low, and that's why they affect the earth so fast, because it's just big drops of bullets of water just dropping it at the same time. Trillions of gallons of water were dropped in these storms. And what I'm saying is there were planes spotted above the clouds, seeding the clouds to make it do that bomb bullet rains. Okay, now, Sister Keisha, in regard to what you were talking about as far as Black men and voting for Kamala and so on and so forth, I'm gonna pose a question to you. What do you feel about Magic Johnson bashing us for saying we need to vote for her because Trump ain't keep promises?
Let me tell you something. Any Black man who's still rocking with infected nuts, Magic Johnson, something is wrong with you. Somebody should have shot back. Look, bust nuts. Don't say nothing to me. Don't say nothing to me. You went out there hoeing around, slut dog, and then you infected, and you could have infected how many people? We don't know. We don't know. Who else you slept with after that monster gave it to you? Why about cleaning up your
AIDS is a hoe. AIDS is a hoe.
Tell that son of yours to be a Black man.
How about that? How about that right there? And it's funny, Sister Keisha, because that was my position. Like, my man, I got 3 sons, and I can't tell you how often I tell them I'm thankful that they chose the route they chose to be fathers. And, you know, I mean, two of my sons have children. The oldest one, Kevin, doesn't, but he has a girlfriend, which is, you know, thank you. And I thank my sons because it's disheartening. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we in the tradition of being men and fathers and creating families. So the Sister Keisha's questions about the things she's ran down, you know, y'all know I always support women in leadership and sisterhood because I was raised by women, strong women. You know, my grandmother's my mother, you know, peace be upon my grandmother, one of my grandmothers, my paternal grandmother, and my mother. You know, my maternal grandmother's still alive. Shout out to Graham Dukes, as I like to call her. You know, but to the thing of Big Winnie, you know, I just recently had a conversation talking about when Monique was oversized and how she would always be like she didn't like skinny women. And I remember it was Media Takeout who posted the picture of Monique and all these other big women in body paint, and that had went viral. This is when going viral first started. And somebody asked me, what do I think about the picture? And I said, Monique needs to get honest and stop selling this negative image to Black women. She's like, no, she liked being big. You know, she's not into the body shaming. I said, it's not about body shaming. It's more about our health, you know, and not to say that you're obese, that you're unhealthy, but everybody can't be overweight and healthy. It's not a comfortable feeling. I said, you talking to somebody who was almost 300 pounds. Can't nobody tell me it feels good to walk up a flight of stairs and can't breathe. Can't nobody tell me that every time you walk, your inner thighs are rubbing together, causing holes in your jeans. That's comfortable. I said, anybody tell you they good with that? They're lying. I said, what it is she's psyching herself out and acting like she's comfortable with that weight when we know she's not, because she's not ready to do something about it. Because when she's ready to do something about it, she'll get honest. And sure enough, now we see that Monique lost weight. Fast forward to Lizzo. Lizzo lost weight. But again, this is a fetish of the European men, you know, because from my understanding and my research, most quote unquote mammies weren't big women like it was portrayed in the movies. A lot of information that we have is misinformation, and it does come from the Urugu. Sister Keisha, as you was talking about research and where we get it from and mimicking white people, I hate to say this, right? Because I'm gonna do some more research, but some of J.A. Rogers' findings I question when he talks about who was Black and things like that, you know, equating mulattoes and quadroons and octoroons as being Black. Again, that's in alignment with the racist ideology that one drop of Black blood makes you Black. I just saw a video today with Steven Tyler, I believe it is, the rock and roll dude for Steven Tyler. What is he from? The Rolling Stones? Is that his great
Aerosmith?
Yeah, wherever he's from. That one of his great grandparents could have been Black, and he was just thrilled. Now, does that make him Black? See, these are things we got to deal with, because when you start talking about percentages, you're talking about math. And numbers don't lie. Come on now. If it's 50% of one thing, 50% of another thing, you can't call it Black. We just can't do that, you know? So I say all that to say that our research, things that we be regurgitating, that's why a lot of stuff people say is research, I actually call it rhetoric, because you got to say, where did you get it from? What's the basis? A lot of times we do research and we publish our findings is to convince somebody of a particular idea. But again, whose idea is it? And that's what we got to start peeling back the layers on. So when you look at the music industry, and this brother Black's field of expertise, but when you look at the music industry, you look at the Diddy's, now they're talking about Clive Davis is bisexual. This is the deep state, and these people are losing control of all the power they thought they had on the people. Unfortunately, a lot of our people aren't aware enough to know that this is our moment to strike, while we see these folks stranglehold on us is weakening. But again, as we've always known, even if you get rid of all the white folks on the planet, we're going to operate on autopilot in white supremacy. So here it is, our young men looking like little girls want to be little boys. We moving outside of what we know to be scientifically and mathematically true. We are literally out here losing our minds. And this is all they wanted. They wanted control of our mind. This is how you make a slave. You convince him to see things how you see it and operate in your reality. So Here Diddy is jammed up. You was talking about technology, Sister Keisha, and I'm gonna pass the mic. One of the things I think people forget, years ago on BET, Dame Dash had his own show. I forget the name of it, but he was dealing with technology and he was dealing with holograms. So he would show up to the contestants virtually via a hologram. Remember years ago in Coachella, they had a Tupac hologram. There's so much technology going on right now. We don't even know what to believe is true and what is not true. So we got to be mindful, keep our minds on a swivel, right, Sister Keisha? Keep our mind on the swivel and pay attention to where technology is and where it's going, because now we have access to AI. We see them doing the Meek Mill videos and the P. Diddy videos, making them look like Rick James and everybody. I saw one today where they was looking like the cast the color purple and all of that. And it's fun. But imagine how many times it was used against us prior to them releasing it to the public. Because remember, everything that they released to the public, they had for generations before we even got wind of it. So what did they use to manipulate the way we see things? And we have to start questioning everything, stop accepting everything on face value. And the first thing we need to question is our belief system about so much of what we've been holding on to be true. Even our quote unquote master teachers. One thing I'll say about our teachers that made them so dope, like the Dr. Clarks, Dr. Benz, and the Malcolms. Don't take my word for it. Take what I gave you and move further. This is what everybody keep missing. Move further. But we keep looking backwards, getting stuck with Dr. Clark said, and then Malcolm said, and then Garvey said. And as the Honorable Right Dr. Bobby Wright said, hey, what I say, what do you say? It's what do you say? When do we start thinking for ourselves? Stop using other people's brains. It's already used and occupied. Stop regurgitating what you hear and do your own independent study. This is the only message. If anybody ever said Brother Tad told them anything, use your own mind. Don't even take what I say for face value, because my experience is always going to be different from yours. You may see something that I don't see, and you can pull me up. Sister Keisha, Brother Mike, Sister Mama, Brother Blacksmith, all teach me things that help and have me question what I previously thought about a thing. I'll say something like, well, brother, this, that, and the third. I'm like, I didn't know that. Let me look into that. As Sister Keisha was talking about this Dred Scott decision earlier today, I remember a few episodes back when she was talking about Judge Roger Taney being a supporter of Dred Scott. And the information that was given to us was like, he hated black people. And he was giving us instructions, letting us know that white man ain't going, they ain't going to be, y'all know the quote. How it goes, Sister Keisha?
Black man has no rights that a white man is bound to respect.
Right.
And he, like Charles Sumner, try to warn black people. I got to follow the letter of the law, but you ain't going to win it this way.
I remember
Charles Sumner said black people got to form their own political party, and he got beat on the Senate floor for it.
Clarence Darrow said the same thing. Clarence Darrow, when he represented the Scottsboro boys, said the same thing. A lot of times we hear white people said this, white people said that, but we don't know the context in which they gave it. And a lot of times it's instructions like, if you want to win, you got to do that. But so many times we always operating from the mindset of a victim or a loser. We don't even know how to be a winner. And when we do win, we want to say somebody else gave it to us. And it's just one thing I want to we call them Yorubas. Yes, but why we gotta say so-called white folks, because in our research and study, we realized that they weren't even called white folks until 1861. But then when we start getting our history lessons from other people, we act as if in the 1700s and the 1600s and 1500s, when they first started exploring the New World, they came over here as white people. No, they came over here as Germans, Russians, and Italians, and Irish, and English, and Dutch, and Spaniards. They wasn't like, we're white. That was something that was created here to separate us and keep a caste system, because like I said, all black people that were here were not enslaved. So we got to get out of that slavery mentality and start really opening our minds to other possibilities. Because again, my grandmother used to, and my maternal grandmother, who I said is still alive, Sister Keisha complexion, she's always say, who said I'm black? Who said I'm black? And I'm like, Grandma Bub. But again, we knew her mother was a Native American. You know what I'm saying? And then I went to the Schomburg and looked up my ancestors' birth certificates. And there it was. Everybody's was switched, Sister Keisha. I said, I'm going to go back in the future and get it. My great-grandmother was Native American. My grandmother was Negro. My mother was colored. I was Black, and my children are African American. Every generation of the same damn family with the same damn attitude. Like, it's just crazy. So I say that to say we have to open and expand our mind and start creating our own reality, because these people are going to have us bugging out. Because I'm looking at the little people in my family, and I'm like, we in trouble. And I'm not talking about the community system. I said, look, people within my family.
Yo, Tad, you need
facts, brother Tad. Facts.
You need to make some land claims, man.
Say it again.
You need to make some land claims. Remember, Old Dirty said on
yes,
on Wu-Tang song, you know, the Black Indian, my grandfather, that owned land, and then they took it, you know, whatever. But what I'm saying,
there's a documentary where he showed some of that, where his family showed who his family was and where they were.
Sorry, we got to keep you muted, Black, unless you're speaking, because it's a water sound that's coming from them.
That's his UFO. He's on Ezekiel's wheel.
Oh Lord.
He's hovering over the planes that's hovering over the storm clouds. He's keeping an eye on the Urugu. The Anunnaki is watching the Elohim. That's what's going on right now. But yeah, so I say all that, right? Because all this ties in. And to Brother Anunnaki's credit, right? A lot of times we talk about where we from, whether we from America and we from ancient Kemet or South Africa or Africa. And I tell people, what you got to realize is we literally a cosmic people. I said, let's just really put it on the table. We're one of the first forms of high functioning living organisms on this planet. But this planet is a rock covered in water, floating in the middle of the space around a ball of fire. Think about that. Think about that. And do we think we really the only life form in this vast universe? Like, we got to think outside. And why are these people so hell-bent on crushing our spirits? The people who developed high sciences on this planet, the people who developed civilization to show other people how to properly live and thrive on the planet. What is the purpose of them trying to crush the teachers / the parents? Unless there's something we have that they want, which those of us who are aware, we recognize that. But how do we get the other groups? Because we can manifest. And I'm Pastor Mike, but I'm gonna say this. This is one of the things that make hip hop so valuable. You take people who have nothing, and use their creative energy to create things. They created wealth. They created new social constructs and thoughts and thought patterns, whether it's Public Enemy, Brand Nubian, whoever it was, coming out of the urban culture. Because part of this is we're talking about politics and history. So we're talking about the history of Black people here in America and our creative geniuses, the things that we have done and created that literally fed the world. Jewish people in Israel right now are benefiting off the labor of jazz, R&B, hip hop, blues, all of our creative geniuses. This is something that Kanye was talking about. As crazy and nuts as he may have seemed to people, because Black folks ain't supposed to talk about owning and controlling anything. If it ain't a car and a block, you ain't supposed to talk about controlling that. And they'll let you talk about controlling the block and getting rid of the ops on music all you want. But the moment you start talking about controlling the economy in your community, once you start talking about controlling the politics and policies in your community, then your problem, and that's still low level. Because what about owning and controlling your thoughts and behavior patterns? What about that? What about that paradigm shift? Now you're really problematic, because the only way this system lives is by leeching off of us, off of our ignorance. And that's why it's important that though our children may go to public school, we learn as much as we can to thwart that. When YouTube first came out, I used to watch the videos with my children, and my joke was always, they under the spell, they under the spell. And they be like, what spell? I'm like, the spell of Leviathan. And that's a joke in my house. But now that they're older and they can see it for themselves, they see it to be true. Because when we see people regurgitating the script or just going along with mainstream, they under the spell. And that's our inside joke. But that was to supplement the misinformation that they was getting in school. Because I always tell them, we a team. I'm the team leader, and my job is to make sure you win. not just in school, but in life. That's what every parent is here for. We want you to be smarter than us. You're not there yet, so don't try to outfox me. But my job as your father is to make sure that you grow up to be smarter than me. So when you leave this house, I can have confidence that you're always going to make the right decision for yourself. And I'm off my soapbox.
Hey, Sister Keisha, we're going to have to shut the show down. Tad done shut it down right now.
Nah,
sorry.
That's my brother. That's my brother. But like he said, you know, we learn from each other. You know, I'm sitting here in the background and Black may say something or Sia may say something or Tad, and I'm taking down notes. Steel sharpens steel, iron sharpens iron. So, like I said, we don't have all the answers. And I like what the Sister Farnessa said. And, you know, I reiterate this almost every broadcast, that you have to research your own family history. Listen, some of my family members is in the chat. My Aunt Marie will tell you, I want the photo albums. I want to see everything you got. Pull it out. I'll pull up, Tad. Give me everything you got. Every piece of document you got. Let me see. And then I'll take pictures of it. Then I'll come home and I'll sort everything out. But that's very, very important because, like Brother Tad mentioned, you got Steven Tyler now, who's proud of his little 1% blackness or whatever. And now that this movement for reparations continue to be pushed, whether you have people like Gavin Newsom and rejected, if you will, and anybody vote, any Black person who vote for Gavin Newsom after this, I want you to take your head and ram it through a glass, okay? Please, but just do that for me. But we have to maintain our own story, tell our own story. You got to know your family's lineage. You have to. I don't care where you come from. Learn your family's lineage. True story about my very own husband. One day we were talking about family and history and stuff like that. So, you know, my sister-in-law, who's a white woman, she says, did Rowan ever tell you about David Cortez? I said, no, he ain't never tell me about David. She looked at me and said, why you never tell him about David? In Jamaica, David Cortez is the equivalent of Mumia Abu-Jamal. That's my husband's first cousin. Wow. Their mothers were sisters. So a lot of things, you know, he don't talk about for whatever reason, but because being married to me, he wants to know. He wants to see more because this is how I move. All of my family members will tell you the exact same thing about me. On both sides, they ain't gonna tell you no different. This is how I move. So please, family, research your family's history. Get to know who you are. And I guarantee you, the more you research your story, you know, even my Aunt Marie, shout out to Aunt Marie, but we were talking about my great-great-great-grandfather, who was German, and how when the Germans came here, they was treated worse than the Black folks or whatever. But however, you got to know that story, the good, the bad, and the ugly. You better know all of it. Because once you do, family, everything that you do in your life will be so much easier. Everything that I'm doing in my life, I know why I'm doing it. I know I got to keep doing it. That's based on me researching my family's story. Like to know that a fifth grade uncle of mine, after fighting in the Civil War, fighting for our freedom, literally, broke into the armory, stole the weapons out of there so he could arm the people he was living there so that they could protect themselves. Because once that war was over, they wanted Black men unarmed. And they still want you unarmed. That's why they have these gun buyback programs. They say, well, it's to stop you all from killing yourselves. Well, why you have that in white folks' neighborhood? Because white folks is always at war. Y'all, the United States been at war since I've been born. There's never been a year they ain't been at war with nobody since I've been born. So why they don't have gun buyback programs for that? You may have a shooting in the neighborhood and 2 or 3 people get shot. But when these Urugos go out here on these mass shooting, they shoot 25, 30, 50 people at one clip. So the numbers ain't, the math ain't mathing here.
And the person didn't even do nothing to them.
facts. And our people will believe that, Black. They will believe this and fall right in line with it. I know that my ancestors is like, heifer, you better not vote. Because when you see me, I'm going to choke you. Heifer, you better not mate with so-and-so. You ask my grandson. The next time y'all see him, what kind of life he going to have? And I had my daughter here. No, I went to her house last Sunday to take him home. And I'm going to close out with this and let us close out. He says, Nana, I'm going to have a black wife and she going to be busty. I said, what? She going to be busty with the straightest face. So then he said, and I'm going to have my own zoo because you know I love animals, Nana. So his mom, my daughter says, you mean you want to be a veterinarian? He says, no, listen to me, Mom. I'm going to hire a veterinarian to work in my zoo. I'm going to own it. And that was the conversation. 7. So wow. He know he got to have a black wife. His preference is busty. He got black babies. He got to own his own business based on what he loves in life. See what I'm saying? So whether I wanted to or not, as Brother Tad said, teaching his children is stuck with him. Teaching my daughter, I bet you she ain't anti-black. I tell you that much. So all we got to do is toe the line, family. We winning. Whether you want to believe it or not. We winning in monumental ways. Yeah. Marie said, nope. No vote from us unless they clean up their own mess. Absolutely. And everything is people having sex on the Congress floor. You got Netanyahu who's wanted for war crime, just pull up anytime he feel like it. You got both parties say they rocking with him, even though there are, and we got to talk about this, hopefully a minute next week, the mass exodus of Jews who are leaving Israel before this thing took off. They ain't want to be, but you can't mention the Jews. I'm speaking for them Jews.
Yeah.
I'm speaking for Rabbi Nathaniel and all of them who be on Flushing Avenue, who be out there protesting. I'm speaking for
getting beat up in Israel. And they're getting beat up in Israel.
And sneaking kids in the tunnels.
We're not done.
Speaking of that, Brother Black, I'm glad you mentioned that. And I was going to talk about it tonight, but we ran out of time. The person who was digging in the tunnels, he says, he'd rather go to prison than to deal with what comes with the synagogue. So they already caught him. The case is moving along. And also, in light of Diddy, I want y'all to remember, Marilyn Manson is also on trial for sex crimes, even worse than Diddy. But,
wow.
ABC ain't do no special on that. How is it that ABC could release, whether you agree with what happened with Diddy or not? That's neither here nor there. ABC released a special last night on the eve of this man going to court to try to get a bail. They released that special, The Secret Life of Diddy last night. What a Secret Life of Marilyn Manson. Go on Google tonight, family. I want you to Google Marilyn Manson and his sex crime case and look at the deviance in that. Diddy ain't got nothing on Marilyn Manson. So make sure y'all look that up. I put the name of the book in the chat. Shout out to everybody on Twitch. I always forget y'all. I don't mean to. I love y'all. But the book is called She Took Justice by Gloria J. Brown Marshall. The reason why I'm recommending this book is because she makes these legal cases palatable for you. It's very, very easy reading, and I think you all will enjoy it and become excited about some of the things that you learn because you're going to see a lot. Shout out to the Black woman. But anyway, and MWM in the building. We got to get them some love. Shout out to MWM, always on the check-in. We're coming up on the anniversary of the Million Woman March. And I know Dr. Filet has had a series of Zoom meetings. And if you want to be abreast of what's happening with those Zoom meetings, stay in tune with Thorough Black Talk's Facebook page. We post everything over there. All right. My brother Black, your final thoughts and comments, and let's get the people up out of here.
Interesting times we live in, my friends. I pretty much said it all at the beginning of the show. I believe as time spirals in a 180-degree manner on a 360-degree Earth, we're going from negative to positive, dark to light, evil to good. So when you take the word evil and put a D, you get devil. When you take the word good and put an O in the middle, you get God, or take an O off, excuse me. So one is addition, one is subtraction, and we just going into better times. Again, with the celestial, I mentioned this a few weeks ago, that the earth is, the sun is, well, it's not rising and setting. The earth is rotating in a different system called the TRAPPIST system. I told y'all about this a few weeks ago. So along with that, something that I want to tag on Brother Tad said, as far as exceeding what Dr. Clark, Malcolm, and all of our greatest already did. Dr. Clark used to say all the time, if white folks took a ship and left the earth tomorrow, we'd be in it for 100 years. I never agreed with that, because soon after hearing that statement, he said it a lot of times, so it's not something you got to look for extensively if you don't believe me. Okay, but I didn't believe that, because I already kind of knew we weren't going to be in the same dimension that we were when he was alive, or in that time when he was saying in the 80s, when he was very active before he got old. And we're going to be in the fifth dimension. We're not going to be in the third dimension no more. Remember, we're moving through dimensions as well. As you can call them frequencies or what have you. You know, time ain't going to be the same. The earth is going to be tropical again. So look out for that. If you're breathing on a vibrational level that's very high, stay there and don't let anything detract you from that. And just keep on living to serve the people like we serving it to y'all. We're not giving y'all physical food or water or anything like that, but we're giving you mental food. Take this with you, spread it how you can in the earth, apply the wisdom. Apply the knowledge, and that becomes wisdom. So with that said, I love y'all. We'll be on the bridge next week if Sister Keisha will have us. And love and respect each other, and Sister Marmar gets it next. Peace.
Peace, brother.
Well, family, another wonderful show. Remember to like, share this video, subscribe to our YouTube page, be there for us as we are there for you. You know, all the predators, say their names out loud. If you could call out the ancestors, you could call out the predators. Garth Brooks is one of them. You know, Clives Davis, the P. Diddy, the Jay-Z's, the women predators that they don't want to name. All the predators out there, say their names out loud so that they can go down in the fires of hell. It is time for us to regain our consciousness. You know, our children are looking to it. There will be no more people fighting for the life of African people, of Black souls after this, because like somebody said, the children are not looking good outside. And I bet you the person that was talking about 8th graders and under. Because I know when I go into these schools, I question it all. And I question some of the educators around it. I just don't know the zone that I be in. And I put a hedge. If I could have the biggest Ankh and Guiami to protect me as I walk into these facilities, and then they're all walking around with crosses. So it's very,
now you see why we call you Sister Marmar, right?
It's very, very cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs out there. So protect yourself and do the knowledge. Because you see this knowledge Sister Keisha is doing right now? Pharaoh will not have to do that. He will stand strong on all the understandings of who his family line is. If we do that for all of our children, you know how much better they'll be? They'll be 9 times stronger than us just knowing who their family was, and then having the ancestral knowledge of all the good souls that's been working for our survival. So let's work for our survival. Let us thrive. Let us be who we are supposed to be. Don't vote down the line. Vote for your best interest. And if you don't have a best interest, go in there. I advocate that you go in there and put a name right on the ballot and walk out. They can't take that away from you. So activate your civil rights. Even if you don't select somebody on that, you can write in on the ticket. That is your right. Brother Tad. Oh, wait. I'm so sorry. May time flourish or make time flourish? Thank you, Brother Tad.
Right. Well, family, I enjoyed tonight's conversation. I'm glad that we could have this talk, but we at a critical time right now. Like Brother Black said, we moving into the 5th dimension. Where we right now, Black? We in a 3.5, 4.2. I don't know what dimension we in right now.
I believe we're in the 4th because real talk. I'm being serious. I believe we're in the 4th because the 4th is like a way station. It's a place you got to go. You got to be there for a minute. It don't last long. And then before you know it, the sun is going to be rising in the west and setting in the east. And we're going to be like, wow, we can go to the beach now. We don't have to work.
Purgatory?
That's
What?
Purgatory?
Yeah, you can say it's that. You can look this up. Again, I don't tell you anything you can't look up. Whether you believe it or not is up to you. Real talk. I mean that when I say that.
All right. We believe you, brother. So, family, hopefully you inspired by the things you heard tonight. It's your turn to go out and inspire others. So y'all stay up. Hold up. We should be back this Sunday for the OG Wisdom Podcast. We should be back this Sunday for the OG Wisdom Podcast. Sometimes we have scheduling conflicts, that prevents us from getting a 1-2-1, but we should be back in fact, we will be back this Sunday, OG Wisdom Podcast, every Sunday, 2 p.m. on YouTube. All right. But again, hopefully you're inspired by some things you heard tonight. It's your turn to go out and inspire others. So y'all stay up, stay blessed, stay true. And remember, no matter how hard things may seem right now, there's always better days ahead. Sister Keisha. I'm
glad you mentioned that because we got some questions in Thorough Black Talk message. What happened to OG Wisdom Podcast? Listen, y'all can email him and C Gutter to ask about OG Wisdom. I don't know nothing. Okay. They got an IG, they got Facebook, they got all that. Yeah. Don't ask Thorough Black Talk. Don't send me no phone messages, nothing. Ask them. So again, he said they will be back this Sunday. Shout out to C Gutter. Yeah. Love the show, love the vibe, love the intelligence, because that's very, very important. So, for all you brothers out there and sisters, especially if you at home and you don't got no mail in the house, please turn on OG Wisdom Podcast, on Sundays. Yeah. Let them get some male energy, please. Because like Brother Taz said, it's too much zestiness going on. Everybody want to be swallowed. No, we don't got time for that. All these chicks want to be carpet munchers. No, we ain't got time for that. Listen, don't do it. But we'll see y'all black again next week. And the Freedom Party will be back with us, family. So y'all have a good weekend. Enjoy yourselves. Stay safe out there. Look out for each other. And do nothing but love on yourself. Good night, y'all. We out.
On the Brooklyn Bridge tonight, voice is strong, knowledge tight. Thorough black talk in the air, changing minds, changing flair. From Brother Tad to Sister K, warriors got things to say. Sister Marcy brings the heat. Brother Blacksmith keeps the beat. Revolutionary ways, they fly underneath the
Thursday nights the world will see. Black power media on a spree. Facebook, YouTube all aligned. Breaking free from every bind. Social talk and politics. Every voice breaks through the matrix. Commentary raw and true. For the many, not the few. Revolutionary waves, they fly underneath the open sky. Every word's a call to fight. Tune in, feel the ancestral light. Social talk and politics. Every voice breaks through the matrix. Commentary raw and true. For the many, not the few. Revolutionary waves.